Joey is going to talk to us a little bit about AEON.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joey Chatelain, and I'm a software engineer at Cumbres Observatory. As was said, I'm here to talk about the AEON Plus telescope collaboration and some upcoming exciting developments with respect to CFHT. Before I begin, just want to mention that, of course, everything that I'm about to talk about represents the work of a whole bunch of people, so I'd like to particularly acknowledge the project PI, Rachel Street, as well as the rest of our team at LCO and our counterparts at other AEON observatories. You've heard about AEON a couple times just this session, but don't think it has been defined yet, at least today. AEON is the Astronomical Events Observatories Network, and it exists to streamline astronomical programs, especially for optical time domain observations. The goal of AEON Plus is to extend AEON to telescopes across all wavelengths. Increasingly, astronomy is alert-driven in the sense that surveys discover a vast range of phenomena in need of follow-up observations. This kind of responsive observing can obviously be highly scientifically advantageous, but can be burdensome to both astronomers and observatory operators. So a big part of AEON Plus is to streamline this workflow and develop the technologies needed to enable this kind of science. Software doesn't lend itself to that many pretty pictures, so I have a couple QR codes if you want to go to our websites. But a little bit of history. AEON began as a collaboration between Noir Lab and the Las Cumbres, SOAR, and Gemini observatories. Since then, we've expanded with more and more observatories expressing interest in supporting these more flexible modes of observing. Also, in light of new multi-messenger discoveries, it's more important than ever to enable follow-up access across the electromagnetic spectrum. And so AEON Plus focus is collaborating with both the major optical and near-infrared observatories, such as, for example, CFHT and Keck, as well as radio facilities like NRAO and Skynet. AEON Plus compatible facilities are not just on the ground, though. We also have the Swift Space Telescope that has a groundbreaking open TOO program that offers an API service so that users can easily and programmatically submit requests. We also have collaborations with SAO and ESO and Liverpool, in both African and European facilities. Since this alert-based follow-up will be crucial to the science from Rubin Observatory's LSST, there's been a lot of interest from telescopes contributing time to the Rubin International in-kind program in becoming AEON Plus compatible, and we're working with them to make that happen. Very recently, as was mentioned a few minutes ago, we have been very fortunate to receive an NSF grant to support the AEON Plus program. Specifically, this will enable us to develop the software tools necessary to create programmatic observing capabilities at a wider range of facilities. This includes both the observatory side API development that allow observatories to receive and execute observing requests, as well as the user side software to compose and submit such requests. Specifically for kind of bridging that gap, we are creating a standalone Python library, AEONlib, which will provide more flexible access to observing facilities. I want to talk about that for just a minute. So the idea behind AEONlib is that it will provide a standalone Python library designed to simplify and standardize programmatic access to observational resources, to allow astronomers easier and better access to observatory APIs. Basically, we want AEONlib to standardize what it can while still providing the full range of flexibility and complexity required to make use of the many different AEON-compatible observing facilities. So the goal is to make programmatic access to an observatory API as user-friendly as possible across many different observatories. The code is currently under development. If you want to follow progress or offer suggestions or write a PR, you can use the QR code to visit our GitHub repo. We are always looking for feedback. But just as an example, if you're interested in a better understanding of AEON Lib, we have an example Jupyter notebook in the GitHub repo that demonstrates how you can easily request an observation using the same targeted window at multiple facilities. This specific one is for LCO and ESO because those are two different observatories that we have set this up for already that use very different methods of receiving observation requests. And you can follow along and see how this can be done in basically just a few lines of code. Okay, but y'all are astronomers, right? So you might be wondering if these programmatic tools could benefit you. And the answer is, well, probably. For instance, maybe you have a large program and need to organize many targets, or perhaps you have collaborators all over the world who need access to the same observations and data sets from a variety of telescopes. Alternatively, if you run a rapid response, follow-up, or long-term monitoring program, automation and removing the need for human intervention can greatly increase the productivity and reliability of these kinds of programs. Finally, maybe you're just a busy PI who hasn't seen the Terminator movies and wants to make the robots do all the work. In any case, tools that allow and simplify programmatic access to observatories benefit a wide variety of scientific use cases, and AEON and AEON Lib are positioned to improve that. Okay, so how does this all relate to CFHT? I'm assuming since most of you made it, since you've all made it most of the way through day 2 of this meeting, there's not a lot of new information on this slide, but I'm going to focus a bit on the last 2 points here, specifically the API development of the Lac-à-l'Eau API for users to programmatically manage their programs, and also adding the capability to submit and execute TO observations in under 12 hours. So first we have the Lac-à-l'Eau program, which includes support for the main suite of CFHT instruments. The online user platform is up and running, of course, but at the moment, the existing APIs are intended for internal use only. The AEON Plus program will expose those APIs for external users as well, opening up whole new possibilities, especially for time domain astronomy with CFHT. Additionally, we're going to streamline the logistics of requesting TO observations. Currently, scheduling a TO requires over 12 hours of notice, which can be obviously less than ideal for some science cases. As part of the AEON Plus program, the observatory side workflow and software will be streamlined to enable more rapid TO requests. So to recap, we have a list of tasks within the AEON Plus program for CFHT. First, we want to expand and secure the APIs necessary for users to submit observations. Second, we want to implement the rapid target of opportunity capability. Third, document and publish all of these API definitions. And finally, develop an AEON Lib module for CFHT. But we also want to hear from you, and we want to know what other tools the community might need or what use cases you might have for AEON Plus that we haven't considered. And with that, I'm going to end and open up for questions, and I'll be around for discussion after.
So before we do questions, let me clarify one thing. So using AEON, you will still follow the existing TAC process, still use Lac-à-l'Eau, and the way that it will work is if you or your group of collaborators have an approved program on CFHT with time allocated for TOO, and you've got also an approved program on Gemini or wherever else, you can use AEON to coordinate those observations so they occur simultaneously. So this does not circumvent the TAC process, and it does not circumvent the K1 proposal tool or the K2 operational tool. Okay, hope that heads off the first set of questions. Yes, go ahead.
All right, thank you. This is Tiffany Junot at WorLab. I was curious if any of that effort is coordinated either with the Rubin LSST team, or are you working with other groups like AstroPy because of the Python base? So if you can comment on that.
We are making heavy use of AstroPy. We are not directly coordinating with the AstroPy team at this moment. But as far as coordinating with other observatories, yes, we are very much coordinating with other observatories. And also we have, I didn't mention this, but we are also working on hosting yearly workshops and collaborative meetings to make sure that the observatories can work together and we can know how they can, what assistance they need.
Maybe one more question.
Hey, I have been a user of TOMS, and so I was always under the impression that AEON was essentially going to be using TOMS, but it looks to not be. It seems almost as if AEON Lib is a direct competitor to TOMS, but comes out of the same office. Can you walk me through the differences between the two?
So, yes, I didn't really talk about TOMS here, but yes, so AEON Lib is kind of one step. AEON Lib you can think of as the step between the TOM and the observatory. So we have, through the TOMS, we have a series of facilities that are built to allow astronomers to directly submit to the various observatories. AEON Lib specifically is going to be kind of a refactor of pulling all of that code out and refactoring it to be more general so that people who don't use a TOM toolkit can still gain access. So we want to basically, and not just for people using target observation managers, which are the TOMs, but for people who want to, write their own code base, who want to use a Jupyter notebook to submit their observation on the fly. Something really exciting came in and they want to build an observation request real quick. That's what AEON Lib is for. AEON itself is more interested as a network in getting facilities to have APIs and the programmatic access that TOMS and AEON Lib can then utilize. Does that clarify?
Excellent. Okay, in the interest of time, let's thank our speaker again.